We get more power when we use our feet more. It's as simple as that. Hi everyone, so I've talked about fascia a lot. I haven't really talked too much about feet and how to develop the feet and the legs. So here I've got 6 different exercises that are going to help you develop, specifically focusing on the legs and your connection to the ground. So the feet are incredibly important when it comes to fascial training. And if you think about the actual makeup of the feet, you can't really grow much muscle in the feet. It's quite restricted to the size of your feet, really. It's not like you can grow massive feet, but there's a huge amount of fascia, extensor tendons and ligaments that run through the feet and connect into the legs, which of course is our connection to the ground. It's where all of our power comes from. If we're connected to the ground, when we hit, we can have an equal and opposite force that comes down from the ground and back out. We get a lot more power. We get more power when we use our feet more. It's as simple as that. So this first exercise is really going to warm the feet up and get everything working nice and smoothly, building that mobility in the feet. We're going to stand with our feet together, but one foot slightly in front of the other. Now we're going to lift the toes of the front foot up and have a nice stretch there. And then on the back foot, we're going to lift the heel up. So it's opposite. Then place them both down. Front foot, we're going to lift the heel up. Back foot, we're going to lift the toes up. Place them down. And we're going to start walking. So opposite heel and toe, walking the feet up and down. And really pull in. Every time you lift up, pull into your core. Pull in, pull in, pull in, pull in. So we're connecting the whole of the legs, and you want to feel that biotensegrity pulling through the legs. Very nice exercise to play with. If you've got cold feet, this is going to warm your feet up very quickly. If you want to add a little bit more, you can add a bit of a rotation in the feet, and that will start getting the movement through the hips and just changing some of those fascial lines in the legs. Just start activating different lines as you're doing this exercise. And of course, once you've done it for a little while on one side, you can swap feet. Same thing. Toes and heel, alternate feet rocking. Adding a little bit of a curve if you like. Make sure you're pulling into the core. So pull tight, pull tight, pull tight, pull tight. Get that movement through all of the legs, activating those fascial lines. Once we've done that, we can start doing the grab in and push out. So we've done this exercise already, but what we're going to start doing now is just adding a little bit more specificity. We're gonna focus more on the feet, basically. So from here, I want you to imagine that you've got strings that run from each of your toes through your legs and into your lower dantian, into your deep core. What I want you to do is imagine that you grab those strings in your deep core and you pull them tight and up. And as you do that, you literally grab the ground and the feet go nice and taut and the legs go nice and taut, and we hold. Then we can let go of that and completely relax. Then we want to do the opposite. Imagine that those strings are more like steel cables now, and that you push the dantian, expand the dantian out, push the hips open and spread the toes out and really splay the toes out as much as you possibly can. Pushing, 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 and then holding that for a good 10 seconds. Once you've done that, you can relax. Then pulling in, grab that feeling of those strings from your toes, grabbing them tight and pulling them in. Really lock that feeling in. Try to keep the hips open while you're doing this. So don't contract and collapse the hips. Keep that integrity in your legs. And release and push. Expand the dantian. Imagine that that's pushing down through the legs. You're pushing your feet into the ground, spreading the toes out nice and wide. And relax. So this is basically power stretching. So I've done another video on the arms with power stretching, but we're just focusing on the legs. If you want, you can add the arms in as well and do the whole body. This is going to develop your training much, much, much more quickly. But if you're not feeling it in the legs, spend a bit of time focusing on the legs, then add the upper body afterwards. Next exercise, there's 2 ways of doing this exercise. The first way is like the throwing exercise, when we throw the leg out, and we're going to do a simple forwards kick. And we don't want to do this very high. We specifically want to stay at about waist height or even knee height. So somewhere in that kind of a range. And we want to lift the knee up and then throw it forwards. So we're lifting the knee up, bringing that knee in, and then throwing everything forwards. So it's like picking something up and throwing it like this. It's not pushing out like this and throwing the hip forwards first. We want to pull the knee in and then throw it out. So the reason we're pulling in this specific way is because we want to fire the knee out, kind of like firing a bow and arrow out. When you're firing a bow and arrow, you pull it in and then release. You don't pull in and release in one go, for example. So we want to pull this in and then release it out. And this gives us a momentum that travels down our leg and into our toes. We want to catch the feeling of that momentum, keep the leg relaxed. And as you do this, you'll feel a kind of a clunk in the joints, particularly in the hip, maybe in the knee, maybe in the ankle, and maybe in the toes. But you'll definitely get it in the hip to begin with. And you want to feel that clunk as the leg and the joints get stretched open through the momentum. That's what we're aiming for in this exercise, this pulling open of the joints. It's why we don't do it high. We're just thinking about this pull open of the joints. Pull open of the joints. This exercise is really going to pull the legs a lot. And if you've done the throwing exercise, you'll know that I always say take it very, very gently and do a little bit to begin with. Give it a couple of days and see how your recovery is. And from there, start to decide whether you want to increase or decrease the intensity of this exercise. That throwing forward is going to open the hips. Now we can start to throw out to the side. And in this move, we want to pull the knee in, and then we want to open the hips and throw the foot out to the side. So we're throwing the foot out sideways. Change legs, pull in, throw the foot out to the side. And again, you want to feel that clunk in the hip. Now with this exercise, I recommend turning the foot so you twist the foot in and keep the bottom of the foot down as much as you can. What we're not trying to do is turn and open and do a side kick. We're trying to keep the integrity through our body so that we feel the opening of the hip, pulling the fascia. You see how I'm not leaning back when I do this? It's not a side kick. It's throwing the leg out. That's the important part of this exercise. This is what's going to start tuning that fascial line, pulling that fascia taut and developing the strength within the fascia. One more bonus exercise, if you like, is swinging the leg forwards and backwards. Now this exercise on its own is a nice fun exercise, but if you want to get some benefit from it, you want to feel that when you drop the leg down, that swing, that momentum is what pulls that hip open. So you're dropping it down and the momentum is pulling the hip open. So it's not just swinging the leg like this, it's dropping the leg, dropping the leg, dropping the leg. And we want to do this on both sides, dropping the leg, dropping the leg, dropping the leg. Really nice exercise, nice and fun. So there's one more exercise. Again, it's one of the throwing type of exercises with the leg. And this one, we're going to do an inside kick, rotate the hip, do an outside kick, bring the knee in, and do a forwards kick. This is about throwing the leg out to develop the fascia and open the joints and get that biotensegrity within the body.